Hey beautiful, welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how to do your eyeshadow, eyeliner, and eyebrows. What's really fun about knowing the information that's going to be in this tutorial is that one of the first things that people see is this part of your face. So always making sure that your eyes are on point is going to be really, really important. So first thing I did, now I'm going to go over a few different brushes and a few different products, but I do go over like full face and lips and even lashes in some other tutorials, so make sure that you check those out in my other courses or other videos. So first thing that I do with my eyes, and I didn't think that this was necessary per se, but I actually found that it really, really helps. And it is the eyeshadow primer that goes on the lids. So this was actually the first one I've tried, and it's the, let me see, here we go, it's a little bright, but it's the NYX Proof It. I haven't tried any other primer. This was the first one that I tried, so I'm sure as I go and as this one runs out, I'll try some other ones. But I just took an easy little concealer brush, and if you can kind of see, it's just a little brush, just a nice little thin brush here. And so then what I did, is I've already put it on so that because it takes just a couple minutes to dry. But you put it on here, and then you just kind of, take some strokes and brush it all the way on through your lids. And so then what this does is it gives you that foundation of a nice clean palette on your lids, and then it also helps your eyeshadow stay, so it's going to have a lot more staying power. It's going to stay put, it's not going to flake off. And then here's my little secret, is that I actually tend to just wear my shadow for a couple days, so it helps to just stay in place. Of course I touch up and just kind of fluff it out after I wake up, but it's just a fun little tip that I do, because you don't always just wake up looking amazing. So where I'm going to start first, and I'll show you guys some of the palettes that I use, and as you'll notice that I actually have a lot of different random products and just different things that I try out as I go, and so I want to encourage you to do the same. Of course I could recommend something, but you might not like it as much as I do, or I might get a recommendation from somebody and I might love it, or I might hate it, or whatever that might mean. And so I want to encourage you that makeup is fun, and it's fun to play with, it's fun to experiment with, and a lot of times if something doesn't necessarily work for you, you can always just take it back or send it back, or just go find something different. So the palette that I'm going to use today it's a MAC palette, and it is the Semi-Sweet x9, and so what it has is just some really fun shadows that are on the inside of it. There's some good neutral shadows, as well as some darker shadows, but one thing that I really like about it is that it's not glittery, it's not sparkly. There are some tips that I want to give you when it comes to your shadow and sparkly and glittery things, is that you tend to not want to put anything sparkly beyond about the outer third or the outer half of your eyelid, because then what happens is that the creases that we have here, the sparkles and the glitter gets in there in the creases, and it actually makes you look older. So I want to encourage you to find a good matte palette and start to utilize that. So where I like to start with the brush here, it's just kind of a medium brush, and just in size and in shape, and it's somewhat, it's fluffy, but it's also tight so that the bristles will hold the color. And then what I typically like to start with is this nice light shade, tap it to get any excess off, and then I'm going to just start to kind of fill that in over the lid. And so what this does is it's pretty light, and even just the application is light. And so what this does is it's just a nice little neutral palette that helps get rid of whether it's any little redness or any little veins. And it just gives like a nice little smooth, clean slate of a surface. You don't need a ton. Okay, Next is what's called your best friend color. So if you think about eyeshadows and colors on your face, think of it as like a palette or a painting or a canvas that you're doing. And so if you want a darker color to show up, you actually have to put it over top of the other color, right? So a lot of times people, they'll start with a dark color and then they'll go to the lighter color, but then they can't figure out why their eyes or their makeup is not looking correctly. You actually have to start with the lighter color and then build up to the darker color. So it's that layering effect, and then that's what gives a nice little airbrush effect especially when you work with your eyes. So with this one, just because this is just kind of an everyday look, I'm going to go just with a nice little neutral, I'm going to kind of tap here, just give a little tap on the other one as well. And I'm going to start on the outer corner of my eye and then just do some windshield wiper movements in and out. You typically want to start wherever it is that you want the color to be most condensed, because that's where that brush obviously touches first. So just some nice little windshield wiper movements. I'm going to get a little bit more color, maybe add in a little bit more of this other best friend color. Give it a little tap. And again, start on the outside and pull that color in. Some nice windshield wiper strokes. And I like this brush because it fits nicely in that crease. And then for me, with the shape of my eyes, mine are a little bit more almond shaped, so I definitely like to accentuate that. So just kind of pulling that, and you can pull that best friend color up a little bit higher onto the crease towards the elbow as well. Because what that does is this is where we'll start to create that blending and that blending effect. So then next, I'm going to come in and pull that color just a little bit more on the outside here of the eye. So as you can see, we're just starting to kind of build this lighter best friend color. And I always like to do eyeshadow first. As you can see, I do have foundation and blush and bronzer on, but that's just because I was doing another tutorial, and you'll just have to check out the other videos for that. So where I show you how to contour and all sorts of fun stuff. So, okay, so now we're getting kind of this best friend color where I'm kind of blending a couple of these two together and pulling from the outside in. Like I said, I usually like to do shadow and eyes first before foundation and contouring, and that's just because sometimes you'll get some of that fallout where it'll come down here. One of the best secrets that I give on, a lot of times, speaking of fallout, when women, when they are doing their mascara, or throughout the day, they'll notice fallout, or they'll notice like wet mascara like underneath here. And one of the best tip I was ever given was in my other tutorial, so you'll just have to check that out. Okay, so we've got a nice little base going here, and then what I'm going to use is just a nice little blender brush. So this brush here, it's nice and fluffy and just open, and so what this does is it just helps really create that airbrush effect and help blend it in just a little bit more than that tighter brush that I was using. Now this is actually the secret to getting in those creases, having it look like that airbrush effect, so you can spend the time to blend. Especially, like I said, for me, because I do keep my shadow on for a couple days. Don't judge me. I like to make sure that it looks really great the first time, so that all I just need to do is just blend a little bit more the next morning, and it just fluffs it right up and sharpens it up. So next one, so now that we have our best friend color on, right, so that medium color, next what we're going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of darker color on top of it. So again, with this same palette, I am going to kind of jump into this. So this one's black, this one's somewhat of a brown charcoal, so it kind of blends those two together. This one's a little bit more of a charcoal here. So I'm just going to kind of tap onto those, tap it out, and then I'm going to zoom in real close here. But now I'm going to start to again, create that effect of the almond eye that I'm looking for. So starting where I want the color and pulling that in again, just kind of tapping on those couple palettes, tap it out to get any excess. And then I'm pulling in from that corner of the eye to start to, again, accentuate the shape of the eye that I have, as well as the shape of the eye that I like. So pulling that in, and then here's where we blend, blend, blend. So again, get your clean blender brush and fluff that baby out. So again, on the creases of the eye, what I like to advise people is to make sure that they are not using glitter or shimmer on that outer third or that outer half of the eye. And that is really just to make sure that it doesn't accentuate those creases, because we don't want to look old. We spend a lot of time and money on anti-aging in this world. We don't want to look old. So one thing I am seeing, I'm just going to change this out or adjust this a little bit. So I'm seeing just a little bit of a crease right here, if you can see that. So I'm just going to retake, and I'll do this again, but just take that same crease brush that I used earlier. I patted it off, but I'm just going to add a little bit more of that neutral white, or that neutral skin tone, just to help blend and get rid of that a little bit. There we go. All right, so I'm liking where this is going, so I'm just gonna kind of tap and blend a couple of these colors, just to kind of really accentuate that outside corner. And back to my blending brush. And again, you'll as you start to layer your colors or layer your shadows, you'll find what look works well for you and which one you like. Pulling it into that crease over here. And now when it comes to the bottom shadow and lashes, it really depends on what you're doing or where you're going. I always like to encourage, so if you are, whether it's a photo shoot or if it's in a competition, you're going to be up on stage, I like to say obviously do the bottom lashes or do the bottom eyeshadow. But what I tend to actually tell people is to not necessarily fill in all the way with the bottom shadow, and I'll explain why. A lot of times that can actually close off the eye, which for us as women, we tend to like those bigger eyes and those bigger, brighter eyes. So I'm just going to grab, again, that Best Friend color with a little brush here, so you can kind of see that. So it's just this little, it kind of just packs color right in there. So I'm going to use, like I said, that Best Friend color. Tap it in there a couple times, give it a tap, and then I'm going to tap it in and just kind of pack it into the bottom part of my lash, or the bottom tear line, if you will. And so this still gives it like a nice, just a little smoky effect without closing off the eye. If there's a really dark line underneath, that is going to close off the eye, and we don't want that. So tapping a couple of those colors and backing now to the other side. Again, creating that line where I'm wanting the shadow to go. Pulling it in. Again, with this brush, I actually didn't talk about it, but this one is a little bit more of a specific shape of a brush. So this one's really great to just get into those creases and to really make it specific where you are wanting that color. So now we're going to go through and blend again. Again, this blending is that really, really important piece that really gives your eyes that airbrushed and that just that smooth look and effect. Now, one thing as you do one eye and the other, this is going to take practice, but you'll want to always make sure, obviously having good lighting is important, but then also making sure you're getting that nice little neutral color and just kind of touching up a little bit in here just to make it look a little bit more blended. Okay, so now making sure it's looking even is something that's important, obviously. And it looks like this side just needs a little bit up here. So blending and then making sure that they're even. Like, that's kind of a big deal. Making sure that your makeup and that your eyes are the same. Now, we all have different, actually our faces are not symmetrical. So that's one thing to know and to understand. So you can use makeup to address any asymmetrical things that you might have going on that you really notice. So now I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm sharpening this up, adding just any little touch of color where I think it's going to need it, blending that in. Here we go. All right, looking pretty good. Now here is the secret. Where did I put my? Okay, this is a secret here. So this is one of the best tips that I got from a makeup artist when I took makeup lessons, was having Q-tips on hand, but I just wet them. Which is fine. But there, as you can see, it kind of, like the shadow kind of droops a little bit here. So it's just taking that, that Q-tip or even just a makeup wipe and running your finger up towards that edge of your eyebrow. That is what is going to seriously clean up the shadow and make it look nice and sharp. Once I learned this tip, I seriously, my makeup, the way that it looks is way better. And I notice when other people haven't cleaned theirs up, and I notice just the difference in the way that it looks. So cleaning it up, just kind of pulling that, just making a nice sharp line. Just put that just a little bit. You can wet it with water or makeup wipe. So as you can see, it just kind of lifted the shadow up, which is nice. It just gives it that nice, sharp, clean line and look. And I just realized that I forgot to do that best friend color. Apply that eye a little different. And you can also just, I'm just kind of packing using that same best friend color and that smaller brush just to kind of accentuate that nice, sharp line. Okay, so they're looking pretty good. What do you say? Good shadow, good shadow. So again, finding some of those palettes, playing around with those different colors and what works for you. Again, I'm just loving the neutral colors right now, which is fun. So next is the eyeliner. So now I have this nice little, I actually use gel eyeliner, which I love. And for me, this brush that I'm using, it's just this nice little skinny brush. Nice tight fibers, smooth fibers. And then I use the MAC gel. It's just like this little container. It's the Black Track Pro Longwear Fluid Line. And I really like it because it's got good staying power. So as you can see, it's just like this little gel container. And so then what I do is come in here, brush either side, and then I take my lid and just kind of sharpen up and get off any excess. So then, for me, I actually like to start on the outside of my eye first and then build in. So again, finding what's going to work for you and your lid and the way that you like to do your makeup or what you find comfortable. And I'm going to follow that same line that I just created with the shadow. So they now blend together nicely. So again, tapping in here, just getting a little bit on the edges, on my lid, sharpening up here, just getting any excess off. And then now I'm starting taking that liner, pulling it in, and then get meat in the middle. All the way through, and I don't know, kind of like life, just winging it. So I like a nice little wing, and then same secret applies for your wing. Is to take either that makeup wipe or your Q-tip and clean it up. I'm just going to blend it up towards the end, and that's going to give it that nice sharp edge. Very nice. Okay, so now here's another little secret, that I learned. Sure that's nice and straight. One thing that I really liked when I saw on someone else's eye, and I tried it on mine because again, some things might work for you and some things might not. So I want to encourage you to play around with what works for you and with the shape of your eye and the look that you're going for. Some people, the wing isn't for them because they don't necessarily have the right shaped eye. But you can also change the thickness of your shadow or of your liner, so to give another illusion or to give another shape. So I can thicken up this end of my wing to accentuate the outside of my eye. And then one thing I actually really like to do is just take that liner and it just has that just a little bit extra from what I was just doing, and just kind of add it into the corners right here. So this just gives it a nice little sharp look right on the inside, but then it still is smoked towards the outside. Something that I like to do, I don't do it all the time, but sometimes, just a fun little tip. So I'm going to now do the other eye. So again, starting on the outside. And this will, like I said, practice with some of these techniques. If you use an eye, like an eye pencil, if that's what you love, go for it. Like I said, I used to use a pencil, but I found that I really liked just the gel and the staying power that it has. Like, this stuff stays, which is awesome. So now starting on the inside. And all the way out towards the outside, and making sure that they're the same is important. So making sure the shape is the same, cleaning up that edge, just giving it a nice little wing and a nice sharp tip. Alright, so there is eyeshadow, eyeliner, and then one thing I really want to show you guys that's important is your eyebrows. Eyebrows are so important. I remember even now looking back at pictures like 5 years ago, and I'm like, my eyebrows are so light, and I needed to fill them in. I would just like Photoshop all of my photos and just draw in with some sort of app eyebrows on all of my old photos from like 5 and 10 years ago. But now we know that eyebrows are important, but there's definitely that balance. Like, you don't want to have those big, huge caterpillar, like awkward eyebrows, but you also want them, like, you don't want them to be so light. Like, girls, like, let's fill them in. We've got resources that can accentuate the best parts of our face. So one product that I've actually really liked, and I was recommended, one of my girlfriends recommended it, Jessica Lar. She's another makeup artist, and if you haven't seen her makeup, her YouTube channel, check it out, it's awesome. But is the Wonder Brow, and I really like it actually. I was using just a couple other random things, but I like it because it's like a gel and a color all in one. It comes with this fancy little brush, and it stays for a few days. So for me, I don't necessarily wash my hair every day, so I might put it up in a bun while I shower. And with my brows, of course I can wash my face with my face wash, but I might not necessarily scrub my eyebrows. And so or if I go swimming or I have a kid, so if I just get food all over me, my brows stay, which is nice. So I'm really liking the Wonder Brow. And so like I said, it comes with this great little brush as well as a pen, as well as not a pencil, but I guess it's just another little gel pen. So I'm going to fill in my brows just a little bit more, and I take the pen and go on the little applicator brush that it has. And this is where nice sharp lines for brows are important. So I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom here, and then give it a nice sharp line. And then we start to fill in with some of that gel. So what it actually does is it not only gives color underneath to the skin, but it actually attaches fibers to the hairs. So it gives them just some nice definition, some nice thickness, and they have lots of different colors. So find that color that's going to work best for you, and I can link it in here. So just make sure you check the links. Give it some nice lines, fill it in, give it that shape that you're looking for, and then I just take the brush and just kind of fluff it out. And so what this does is it gives it that nice natural look without having it look too dark, like you've drawn on your eyebrows. And then what I like to do is fluff out that middle. So what this does is it just creates a little bit of a softer look towards the inside, so it's not so harsh. Because if it is a harsh line, then people just tend to look at your eyebrows and not your eyes. You want them to look at your beautiful eyes. Eyebrows are important. I know, like back in the day, my mom, she used to say that it was really skinny eyebrows were in, and now I would say nice eyebrows are in. Don't be, like I said, the awkward, super dark and really filled in, no fluffiness eyebrow. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen them. But we're looking for, yes, defined eyebrows, but still have that natural, that fluffy, that soft look. So that is important. Alright, making sure they're nice and even. Yeah, fluffing out the center, or airbrushing out the center so it's not so harsh. So again, that will really accentuate your eyes without making it like you're the awkward girl with awkward eyebrows. So I love it. Okay, so then next would be obviously whether it's mascara or lashes. So if you guys haven't seen that video, a lot of women, whether they either have lash extensions or they're not quite sure how to put on lashes, or even what mascaras to use, because that will definitely enhance and accentuate your eyes as well. Make sure that you check out my other videos and other tutorials so that you can make sure to get the full face effect. So that's what I got for you today. We've got the eyeshadow, the eyeliner, and the eyebrows, so that you guys can be confident and pull out the best assets of you and of your natural beauty and who you are. So have a great day.